Hey, buddies. Hey, buddies and buddettes. This is my theory on hollow body guitars, or rather, semi hollow body guitars. And for those who aren't aware, a semi hollow body is basically a solid neck of a guitar that goes all the way through the guitar body. However, the sides are hollowed out, and there's a top and bottom put on, which is carved down at at a taper. And inside, there's what they call F holes, and it's like a Les Paul, type guitar. A semi-hollow body uh, allows for acoustics to enter the hollow parts of the guitar. So here was the question I had, and I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of purist guitarists who will definitely disagree with me on this, and that's okay, because I'm always looking for evidence. I've argued with folks about speaker cables and how much you need and how much you need to spend in materials, and I found that people are very misinformed about what makes a good sound. And as long as the electrons pass through the wire, they're shielded, that they're not interfered with, you're doing fine. It's all about the gauge of the wire, not how much you spend or how much it's braided or if it's oxygen free. But I'll get into that another time. Right now, I want to talk just about guitars. And I've been playing guitar since, I was 15, 16. And I'm no expert. I'm just an amateur musician. I love playing and recording, and I definitely haven't experienced all the different types of guitars out there or amplifiers, so I may be just going on a whim here, but I've watched so many videos about tone. Now that I'm building guitars, I want to learn as much as I can. And one guy did an experiment where he went through all different types of pickups on a crappy guitar, on a good guitar. I mean, I'll have to find this video. It was great. He went through comparisons in tone. He played each one at the same level and showed that there's very little difference. In the end, he ended up taking a Les Paul or something like that with all the pickups mounted. He realized that the most important thing was the distance from the pickups to the strings. And so what he did was he set up a really nice guitar with the pickups, and he played a little tune. Then he set up a guitar where he literally had a fake headstock on one workbench in his garage, and on the other one he had a bridge, and he strung the strings across his concrete floor. So there was no guitar, nothing. It was just strings, the tension of the strings over the floor, mounted the pickups at the same distance, and he played it. And I'm going to tell you, to my ears, it sounded identical. Now, there's a lot to be said. As a person who loves music, I understand how the ears shape and our perspective, even the mood we're in. Not to bring this in, but even how much serotonin you have in your body can affect how music sounds to you. It's just a fact. That's why on psychedelics, when we have serotonergic, like, psychedelics, you can just be like so immersed in the music. It's just so much richer. When you're aggressive or not feeling good or you're stressed out, music just can be grating and not sound the same. But all that aside, the actual tone and sound side by side at the same time in the same mood, I think a lot of guitarists don't understand this. So here's my theory on the semi hollow bodies. I believe that a solid body guitar and a semi hollow body will sound very similar when played side by side. However, I believe that it's because some people will say, many purists will only use solid body because the semi-hollow bodies can give a muddier sound. It's the same reason they say that wood does matter, but in like a bass guitar, they say that you should use a heavier wood like mahogany, and that maybe using heavier woods in, let's just say, a semi-hollow body, cutting away that excess material actually cuts down on weight and really helps with weight distribution more than sound itself. Because, like I said, strings over a magnet, pickups, that's where the sound comes from. The only other introduction could be, because here's the thing, if the body of your guitar shakes, this is the fact, if your body of your electric guitar shakes, that's not going to change how the pickups pick up the sound of the strings, except how the strings themselves vibrate when you have it plugged into an amplifier. And that amplified sound is coming back through your guitar in what they would call feedback, right? So any guitarist knows if you have an acoustic guitar and you turn towards the amplifier, you're going to be screeching. It's horrible. It's the worst sound. That's because that sound is amplified. It's coming back into the holes of your guitar and then back out to the strings, and it's causing a feedback loop. I believe that a semi-hollow body can do the exact same thing on stage, where if you're too close to your amplifier, that sound can actually come and, vibrate the air inside those F holes and then transfer that to the neck and the body of the guitar, which will in turn affect how the strings vibrate because the wood's vibrating. And if those frequencies are somewhat in coherence, it may cause a muddy sound or feedback. What do people think? If you're a musician, I would love to hear your opinion on this. I guess the point I'm coming to is that I think that for more or less, a hollow body is really, or semi hollow body is really all for show. Because the center of it is where the pickups are, and that's solid. So if anything's being introduced, it would be muddiness. And they say that a bass guitar should be made out of heavier wood, for example, because of that, because those low notes will come back through a softer wood. Like I have one that's made out of like basswood or something, and it's the first guitar I got when I was, back in like '91, and I loved that guitar. But I learned now that a heavier wood is better because I have a heavier one as well, and that's just much cleaner. So now the one I'm building it out of mahogany, and I'm hoping that that density will, help to keep those notes clean and crisp. But tell me what you think. Very curious to know what guitarists think about this. I guess if you were asking what I'm asking, what you think, it's whether or not semi-hollow bodies really make a difference to the sound as much as people think, whether the tone would make that much of a difference. For example, using a fretboard made out of my fretboards that I'm making right now are out of Bolivian rosewood, and rosewood is phenomenal, but it's not because of the tone so much as the fact that it's dark, it's easy to work with, it doesn't chip out, it has natural oils, which you don't even have to finish it. It's like perfect wood. But that little thin strip over the top doesn't mean shit. Strings don't touch it. The only way it matters is if the entire guitar is vibrating, if the tones are coming back through the guitar. And therefore, that might cause undesired feedback in softer woods. So, time will tell. I'm going to try to build a few and see how it turns out. So, talk to you next time. Let me know what you think, and have a good day.